All right. Good morning, everyone. Hi. Well, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. We're excited to spend a little bit of time talking with you today about our organization, our two partner organizations, Inside Education Group and Kitamba, and a little bit about how we can support your initiatives, your efforts in TClass 2A. So real quick to start with, my name is Bethany Lemoyne. I'm the Vice President of Partner Support here at Insight, and super excited about the potential of working with you. A little bit about my background. I have worked in Georgia with the Georgia Department of Education. I've been a district leader, all of that. I've been an instructional designer or a coach, taught at the college level and some different things like that. I'm so excited about this work because it aligns so strategically with so many of the other efforts that we have done across the country. So I'm going to turn it over. Alejandra, you want to go next and introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Alejandra Pinto-Rice, and I am also with Inside Education Group, and I am a senior associate. And my background is kind of similar to Bethany's. I have some background with federal grant management, had a huge grant in Tennessee that we worked with. I've been a school leader, an instructional coach, curriculum writer, you know, all those fun titles that we get when we're in a school district. But probably my most exciting years were as a dual language and bilingual teacher.
And we also have another member on our team who is not here, but will hopefully pop on throughout the course of this session. And that's Rachel Simic. She has worked at all kinds of very similar backgrounds, things like this, especially with Region 13 there in Texas. So some of you may even know her. And when she pops on, you may even get a chance to get to know her even more. Okay, so I'm going to start by, oh wait, one more thing. We also have another partner with us. Colin Moore works with Kitamba. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes, but we are partnering with Kitamba for this support, as we have done in the past with other projects as well. Colin's also hopefully going to join us a little bit more and talk to you a little bit about the Kitamba side of things. Okay, let's start with who we are at Inside Education Group. These are our core values. We think it's really important to start and ground this entire conversation in just that. These are the things, this is what makes us at Insight who we are. Number one, we strive to address equity in everything you do. If you work with us, you will see that the equity is embedded in all of our conversations. It is the lens that we look at everything that we do through. So that's incredibly important to us, something that will be thematic in our approach and a constant connection to all of the work that we support. Number two, we're a bunch of leaders. We're a team of leaders. We have all sat in your shoes. We have all led schools, districts, state level things. We have done this type of work, so we know what it's like to sit inside in that leader's position and how to manage and how to get things done more so than anything else. We are educators. We've all been in the classroom. We all know instruction. We know pedagogy. We know curriculum. We know it well. We eat, live, and breathe it. We go down to the bottom row. We're also lifelong learners. In fact, Alejandra, I think you'd agree, we're kind of nerds, right? I think we're a little bit nerdy, probably. We love to learn and try new things and learn from experiences that we've had in the past and be constantly evolving and making things better. It's something that we are really passionate about. It's something that we get a little bit nerdy about and get excited about. So that's definitely us. We also thrive in a dynamic environment. We are used to things shifting and pivoting and adjusting. If we've all certainly learned that in the last year and a half, but that's something that we pride ourselves on and something that I think thrive is the best word. We thrive on it, that ability to adjust on the spot and monitor and make changes as things happen. The last really essential thing to know about us is that we really do place a high value on supporting one another and having fun. We're an organization that supports our own colleagues. We support the partners that we work with. We are all about that, and we'll have a good time while we do it as well too. I think we're pretty fun to work with. I hope. Okay, a little bit more about us as an organization. Those were our core values. That's what we believe. That's what our heart is all about. Other things to know about us is kind of like we said before, we're practitioners. We have done this work as school and district leadership, and we appreciate the challenges that come about as a partner through projects like this. Second thing, we are committed absolutely to a partner-driven project. When you work with us, you'll see that nothing that we do is like straight out of a box. Nothing that we do is a canned package. We have foundational materials. We know what works. We know what has worked in all different organizations, but we also very intentionally tailor it to the needs of the individual partners that we work with. So everything that you'll do with us is customizable because everyone's a little bit different. There are foundational things that everyone can benefit from, but we will tailor our work to your individual needs. The last thing to know about us too is just that I've already kind of said this one, but we do appreciate those challenges and nuances and opportunities of implementing things at a small and large scale. We are used to doing it. We've done in the past, and we will continue to do that. A little bit more about the type of work that we do. Of course, we do the work that is embedded in this program, but we do a lot of different things too. We really support folks around these 4 big buckets. Number one, we'll support teacher growth. So we do a lot of things around supporting individual teachers, lots of stuff on coaching, PLC work, curriculum work, instructional strategies, things like that. We will also work on school. We also support school improvement initiatives. Whether we have a lot of leadership coaching, executive coaching, leadership academies, which morphs a little bit into that leadership development section over there as well. And a whole lot of district level strategic supports. We do a lot of support around strategic planning, around plan coherence in schools, a lot around equity support, equity audits, equity things like that, all kinds of good work like that. And we're always happy, please know too, to talk more about this in addition to what's here if you have any additional questions. We wanted to highlight for a couple minutes just some of the partners that we work with that are really aligned to this work. We're going to get into in a little bit some of the Texas specific work that we have, but these are some examples of our partners where projects that we have really aligns to the work of TClass 2A, especially. We've worked with Jackson Public Schools and really comprehensive support, supporting them in all kinds of initiatives, from curriculum support, instructional support, leadership support. We've helped design their frameworks for teacher and building level evaluation systems. Similar work in Syracuse City School District is another example where we've done things much along the same lines: leadership support, strategic planning, leadership academies, all kinds of good stuff like that. Guilford is another example. That's Guilford County, North Carolina. As we have learned through some of the work that we have done, there are multiple Guilford County schools across the country. The one in particular I want to highlight is Guilford County, North Carolina. And we have helped them with curriculum support, developing scopes and sequence and master calendars and sketching out how, and really whole unit plans to integrate their curriculum work across the entire year in all content areas. Alejandro played a major role in that piece, and that was K-12, like everything in the district. It's really the examples of what we did there. Alliance is a great example of a charter. It's a pretty large, but it's a charter school network in California. And we've done some similar work with them, really in that case, based around reopening schools after in 2021 to get them ready from a curricular and instructional perspective. In the center, you'll also see the logo for the United States Department of Education. We have 2 TClass grants that we support. One is, we call it E3, and the other one we call Ignite. And through those grants, we have 7 different districts, really kind of 9 actually this year, 9 different districts, I would say, that we support and all kinds of initiatives much like this. Learning acceleration, we're in the middle of a major project with them where we're helping schools plan for how to accelerate learning this year and develop strategic plans around what that's going to look like. Okay. So that's us in a nutshell, but I'm going to turn it over to Alejandro, who's going to start to get into a little bit more about how we work and our team approach with Kitamba.
Thank you, Bethany. Well, as Bethany mentioned earlier, we do have a collaboration with the Kitamba team, and you saw a picture of Colin, and hopefully he'll join us here shortly. But we have a couple of years of a history of working with them and collaborating with them on different projects. Currently, specifically, we're working with several Texas districts and supporting, again, their learning acceleration process. But the biggest thing, I think the biggest thing to take away is that with us, you get both of our companies and both of our strengths that we bring to the table. Specifically in the work that we're doing currently, where I think that it would carry over into the TClass that we're talking about right now, is that Insight brings that curriculum and the content expertise to the table, while Kitamba really brings that data expertise, the data analysis, the data management, as well as project management as a whole. They really balance us as a team, and we balance them as a team. So it's been a great collaboration with them, and we're excited to continue that as we move into this opportunity. When we talk about Kitamba, as I mentioned, their biggest approach, or their biggest piece that they bring to the table, is that data and analytics. They are great at either supporting districts in creating a data analysis protocol or data analysis process, or supporting the efforts that are already existing in the district to make them more user-friendly, or as we mentioned earlier, working smarter instead of harder. Okay, so how do we work? We, and Rachel has joined us. Sorry, I don't want to jump in. I want to introduce Rachel for just a second, and I'll let her jump right in.
Hi, I'm glad to be here. Thank you. Thanks, Alejandra. Yes, so as she was just about to head into how we do our work together, when we work with teams, it's a collaborative approach. We take our time to get to know what's needed through thought partnership, thinking about how we can support the direction of the work. Everything we do is grounded in coaching and support. And we implement planning processes aligned to change, thinking about those mindsets and where we're going to head to accomplish those goals. And the internal project manager structure, the way we form ourselves around the team, for the team, helps to provide that cadence that will lead to those results that teams are aiming for. Specifically, we utilize a methodology that really grounds us in the research and the needs for every team that we work with, developing a scope and sequence to help guide that for the team and us, with the input of the team to develop those measures of success, creating a timeline that's realistic but aggressive in a way that helps us get to where we want to be at the end of our time together, and through project management to structure the details and the nuances of execution. And that partnership with Kitamba has been really helpful in the work we've done together. Along the way, we scaffold to build that capacity and knowledge, skills, and mindsets around the work that we do, so that teams can walk away feeling like they have what they need to continue work on their own.
So as I mentioned before, we currently have another partnership with Kitamba where we're supporting local, I say local, Texas districts through the RSSP process. And you can see some of the districts that we currently work with. And what's exciting for us is to see the correlation of the work that we're doing currently with RSSP and how it's going to align to the work that we'll be doing with the HQIM process that's coming up. Along with the RSSP districts, we also have other districts that we have partnered with in Texas specifically. As you can see, again, several different initiatives that also align to the work that we'll be doing through TClass. Specifically in Gainesville, we've supported them with, as Bethany talked a little bit earlier about our different partners, with their leadership, but also that curriculum piece and what does that professional development look like once we have identified what curriculum we're going to be using and implementing in the district.
I think what's really essential is just to see too, you know, we know Texas is a unique place too. And we know we have a lot of experience within Texas, working with Texas organizations and the high quality instructional materials that are a part of Texas. We know that well from the work that we've done in other similar projects. As Alejandra was saying, we're excited too, because we know this is going to scale up. That previous slide you saw, the 8 districts that we've been working with intentionally through the RSSP program this year, we know that that's only scaling up come next year. And we're looking forward to working with even more districts going forward.
Yeah. And the only other thing I would add is we have had the privilege of supporting both what I like to call mega districts, really large districts, as well as our smaller districts and charter schools as well throughout Texas.
Great point, Alejandra.
So with the focus around accelerated learning, we've learned a lot through the work to support districts and campuses in shifting from the crisis to recovery around COVID. So grounding the work and the goals in students will accelerate learning in supportive environments to reflect those outcomes. And we've learned a lot about what really matters in being able to help accomplish this work in getting students to a place where we're closing that gap, especially around unfinished learning. And so we've learned it definitely matters about the why. We all know that. And in this work in particular, keeping that up front, we have skilled team members that are great at setting that vision, talking with teams about where they want to be and why. Identifying your key stakeholders, who are the right people in the right place on this bus to help with this work. And so we definitely encourage teams to continue to communicate with the right folks to help with the work and protecting time. This work is a lift, and we want to be able to ensure that you have what you need and that our time is sacred. And it really helps to calendar that out and spend that time together when we're digging into the supports around accelerated learning processes, no matter what that looks like, to create those HQIM experiences. Additionally, the communication, touching on that with connecting with your stakeholders, but really being transparent, open, and flexible. We also know that it matters to understand change. A lot of the mindset shifts and the work that takes place to put forth such a response to where we've been over these last couple of years. Change processes are becoming even more important to keep that in the front and center of how we move forward and navigate these plans. And then intentionally intentionally and strategically aligning all of that to the vision, but into a project plan that will help support teams get to where they need to be. So when you think about the theory of action when it comes to HQIM, the adoption of HQIM plus the implementation with fidelity will lead to student outcomes. And I think that the work that we have done to this point, particularly in Texas, has really given us the ability to provide you with the support you would need for that adoption. And our work together as a team can lead to that fidelity of implementation. So with the TClass 2A deliverables, speaking more specifically, we have team members definitely poised to be of support with the instructional vision and SMART goals. Again, keeping that why and the vision at the center of where we're headed in this work. Stakeholder engagement planning, working with from the board to the community to students and parents. We have experience with connecting all stakeholders, particularly across the state and Texas, to be able to get their input and feel included in this work. And then as we continue down with master schedule with aligned minutes, being able to provide that digital access and instructional calendaring. Many team members of ours are ready to go when it comes to curriculum development and support and working teams through all the nuances that it takes. There are a few intentions TClass calls out. So I want to connect some of what Kitamba and Insight can do when we work with you. TClass Decision 2 supports LEAs in high quality fidelity planning and implementation of HQIM. So when you work with us, that means you're going to receive delivery and support services grounded in HQIM with that greatest level of integrity. We will listen and wrap our services around you. We consider ourselves a way to alleviate your pressure and stand shoulder to shoulder with you when we get into this work. Another intention TClass sets is vendors for 2A play a fundamental role in ensuring high quality curriculum and instruction that happen in Texas with the districts and charters. Again, our experience in Texas has definitely put us in a place where we understand the landscape, the nuances, and keeping TEKS at the center of what we do when it comes with creating that vision, an instructional vision of work. And we're compassionate. And so when it comes to understanding what it takes to wrap our minds around curriculum development, coupled with a strong partner in data collection and analysis, we're able to provide that. And then lastly, TClass provides unprecedented opportunity for districts and charters for accelerated learning. We have been steeped in this experience and have been learning a lot and are excited to expand this thinking and learning with you all. So working with us means we have a commitment that will guide you to this strategic implementation for accelerated learning that will lead to those results and outcomes that you're aiming for. Team, is there anything you want to add to those pieces?
Rachel, I think you summed it up really nicely.
Okay.
What I love is one of the things that I said in the beginning, right? I said that we're all nerds. What Rachel just described, what Alejandra just described, like the what matters most, those are all those lessons that we have learned along the way from the experiences that we have. And do we know what works because that we study it? We think very thoughtfully about all of the work that we do and are reflective and make adjustments and learn from those, from each experience.
Absolutely. And with that note, we just have some questions to consider as you start thinking about the process that you would be embarking on with this TClass 2A. And we like to always start with what are things that are already working in your district so that we can use that as a foundation to kind of pull from. So thinking about what practices or what processes do we already have in place that we can build upon? Of course, what is your district's instructional vision? Where do we see ourselves in connection with the role that HQIM is going to play within your role, specifically in instruction? And as you can see on the screen, we just had a few questions for you to ponder as you start thinking of the next steps that are going to be coming. As you heard in the earlier session, we have this timeline of the planning phase, and we felt that these were good starting points of reflection to get us going when it comes to the planning phase.
All right, we just wanted to wrap up then too, and we can open it up to questions. But wanted to just let you know that we are really excited about the opportunity to work with you through TClass. We love the work that we do. You'll find that we are all passionate and collaborative and reflective and all of those things. And we look forward to the opportunity to talk more about it and to hopefully work with you. Thank you.